Welcome to Viking Preparedness. I am Pastor Joe Fox, and this is...
Sister Kate.
What do you call me normally? Like when we're talking?
Oh, there's all sorts of names.
But
Sweetie,
normally.
Petunia, things like that.
She doesn't call me Pastor Joe. She doesn't call me Pastor. I don't call her Sister Kate when we're walking around. We just thought we'd do this video on the spur to say hi, talk about our day, talk about what's coming up, that kind of thing. Really, I'm shamelessly using my wife, Sister Kate, because people always say, "Oh, she looks good, she's doing well, blah, blah, blah."
She's got the teeth.
So, what are we preparing for today? What are we anticipating?
We are anticipating a huge rainfall, supposedly starting tonight and just going all day tomorrow. It's supposed to be up to
15 inches. And the ground is already saturated.
And 15 inches in 24 hours is a lot. We have been in a flood where, roads covered and people stranded and that sort of thing with 10 inches in 6 hours or something like that.
So I thought of a good story because, see, y'all are Patreon, right? And so we share a little bit more with you. And we have not rehearsed this. Have we rehearsed this?
I was supposed to say Patreon. I'm on Patreon.
You're going to be.
Now I'm really famous.
But have we rehearsed this?
No.
She said, "What do you want to talk about?" I said, "I don't know. Let's just turn the camera on and talk." So here's a cool story. I'm going to let Sister Kate tell it. I'm just going to get her started. So when we were in that foreign country that we were last in, that we lived in, jungly third world country, we drove what kind of car?
An Isuzu Trooper.
An Isuzu Trooper. Now, to we Americans, we think an Isuzu Trooper is not that great. But in this country, an Isuzu Trooper was, "Oh, you big man, drive a Isuzu Trooper." And it was a V6.
Huge engine.
That's what they thought. Because they drove these very little cars. And what would happen in that country when it would rain on the roads?
There would be very large puddles in some places.
Like, when you say puddle.
100 feet long, 3 feet wide.
How deep?
I don't know, 10 inches at least, somewhere in there,
That deep, right? And so the cars, the little tiny cars, would move over to the one lane, and because they were afraid of going in this deep water, because they were little cars low to the ground, and we only had one car, so she would drop me off at work, and then she would have it all day.
Excuse me.
Bless you. With the kids. And what would you... Oh, and it's hot, so even though it's raining, people would have their windows down a little bit. What would you do?
I would have fun in the puddle.
What would you do?
I would drive very, very fast through it and watch the wave. It would split going both ways and flood the sidewalk on one side and do a thing on the other side. It was a lot of fun just to watch the water, do the thing.
Go into the taxi cabs with people.
That was you driving that time.
So,
did not attend that. No, we did not intend that.
That was a lot of water, though.
It was a lot of water. It was so much water.
So we've had one huge rainfall since we've lived in this house, and I woke up in the morning, and I heard this and right over there, and I'm not going to turn the camera, I came outside wondering what this roaring was. There was a waterfall. Where there's not even water going right now, but there was a waterfall happening, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. And if that happens, I will film it for you.
It's up online. That I just saw it. I saw it.
I did film it that time.
Yeah, you filmed it that time, and it was rushing water.
Do you remember what it was called?
No, but I saw it recently when we were looking.
Yeah, sorry, I can't help you there.
I'm sure if you look up rain or flood or something like that, it's there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But right now we're taking that birds are singing and the chickens are clucking and we're in that interlude before it all
And it's kind of the calm before the storm, right? And I went out today and dug ditches, and no, I didn't film it. I thought I might, but I used to get videos. I would shoot videos of my wife and the other sisters here doing things like laundry by hand or cooking over a fire and things like that in YouTube 3, 4, 5 years ago. And people would always, and then I would show pictures of men using like a backhoe, right, or something like that.
Or the generator with
or the generator, right, and drills and saws. And they would say, why do you make the women use like 15th century technology and you guys get to do all the other stuff? Well, here's the reality. I just spent, I don't want to exaggerate, 2 hours with a pick and a shovel, shoveling gravel roads and dirt and packed and clay and getting little ditches and diversion trenches and stuff done. And 2 days ago, I was with Brother Chris.
Right.
And we were working hard. We were dirty and sweaty and stinky. And there's no video of that. Because I don't have a videographer following me around.
You don't either?
I know, right?
Neither do I.
Like, why don't you have more cooking videos?
I can't cook and video at the same time.
I can't work a pick and a shovel and video at the same time. And, you know, when I'm working with other men doing something hard, I feel the need to be out there sweating and working just as hard as they are. And so for me to pick up the camera and start filming... Yeah, no, that's not manly, right? That's like, all right, you guys work really hard like Hebrew slaves, and I'll just film. So that's why you didn't see that. Sorry, but I'm anticipating a lot of rain tomorrow, and I'll film it for y'all.
Yeah.
And show it to you.
I mean, we had several. You had videos, and I had videos up on the last flood in this area. And when it floods, it floods.
What's your channel?
For God Live. It's the number 4, the word God, and L-I-V, no E.
And why did you do it that way?
Because I tried to do Live for God, and that was already taken, and I tried to do lots of other variations, and they were all taken, so this is the one.
But why didn't you do For God Live?
Live?
Yeah, like L-I-V-E.
It's For God Live. Live for God.
Yeah, but how do you spell live? Like live.
L-I-V.
E.
Normally you do, but that was also taken. Do you understand? And lots of people have the same idea, so I had to make mine as, you know, say what I wanted it to say using what
I have good news.
Oh?
You don't know this yet.
Oh?
They don't know it yet.
What is the good news,
Brother
Pastor
Roger
Joe?
sent out a text to like all the brothers, all the Shafarian brothers.
Brother Roger is a nice fellow.
You've seen him. He's the commo guy. And he said, who wants a chain link 5x10 dog kennel, 4 panels, double gate?
Really?
I said, we do. He said, sold to the man of the cloth. He'll pick it up next week and bring it out here.
Nice. They are very useful. If you don't have one, and we don't always even use it for the dog. The one we have has had goats in it, ducks in it, chickens in it. I mean, theoretically, we could stay in it ourselves if we needed to. But
I think it's a decent like grandchild holding facility if we ever need to get there.
You know, they're portable, which is nice. I won't say they're, you know, you can just throw all 4 things on your back and carry it, but I mean, it breaks down. It's not all wired together and everything. And it is very useful for keeping animals in or keeping animals out. You can put a cover on it, which I've done many times in the past, and then cover it with like netting or chicken wire. So yeah, thank you, Father. Hallelujah.
So I do a lot of videos on the world situation,
right,
and what's going on.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think I'm more in tune to that than you are.
Right. You're
but
more into the political analysis.
What are you thinking about world situation now? See, you never talk about that on your channel. So like, talk to the people. What are you thinking about? What's going on in the world? What do you think we need to do? Blah blah blah.
Wow, that's a very huge question. That's probably one reason why I don't always talk about it. Well, I do talk about the terrorism, and I don't think that's changed. I think being cautious and staying away from large gatherings and being aware of your surroundings and sorry, but profiling people who could be a threat to you is still ongoing.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Sure.
Hold that thought.
Sure.
So I did a video on YouTube recently, and I don't remember how it came, but somebody because Brother Chris was talking about how he said, praise the Lord, because I told him people could mistake you and your wife for a black Muslim, and somebody said, see, this is on Patreon, so we can say this, because YouTube would, like, get rid of this video. Mm-hmm. But I told him, you know, you don't want to be perceived as a black Muslim. People here don't like that. And then all these people got on me on my YouTube channel, and they're like, what? Would Muslims not be, are you saying Muslims wouldn't be accepted there? And I'm like, yeah, Muslims won't do well here. There's already a bunch of Muslims from Somalia and burqas in northwest Arkansas, southeast Missouri, and there's starting to be some pushback, and it's getting kind of ugly out there in the waves, and yeah.
And this area, I think it's 2 or 3 years now, had a woman killed by a Muslim coworker within like
Get dog.
2 hours of this location. So people have this on their mind, and they are very aware
That's
of it.
her dog.
Yeah, and for some reason.
All right, so terrorism
video,
you were talking about. I'm sorry.
Right, there's that, and then there's the Brexit, all that stuff. I don't think it negatively affects anybody, but there could be economic, sides to that.
Are you tracking what's going on in France?
There was some sort of big vote coming up, but I didn't look at that.
Le Pen versus the other guy, the globalist guy. See, I don't even bother to remember his name, but Le Pen is like a populist nationalist female.
Right.
Female, I'm for Le Pen. I support populist and nationalist of all stripes. And so they're going, and that's coming up right now. What's going on in Korea?
Yeah, I don't know. Kim Jong-un is, he's just not very reliable. He's always a dark horse, and
he's fat, pudgy.
Right, but he's also you can't predict what he's going to do, and he's got a huge ego. I don't know whether it's face, because Asian cultures in general have a concept of face, not unlike...
what do you know about Asian cultures? You ever lived in Asia?
I've lived in a couple of Asian countries.
A few Asian countries.
A few, and that is an important part of dealing with the people who live there. Like, you'd never want to embarrass your friend because you want him to have face. And so... he's got an issue with that. That's a lot of what his saber rattling is him and his face, wanting to appear as a world power. And that's why his, declarations that he's going to bomb somebody, or he keeps popping nuke tests.
Yeah, him putting
like
pictures of like crosshairs on the White House and showing nuclear clouds on propaganda videos. That's really, who cares, right? It's like the third grader in the schoolyard. But do we, the big we, want Kim to have nuclear weapons? Well, he already does. Do we want him to have more? Do we want him to have deliverable nuclear weapons? And I say, no. Of course, what the heck we are doing letting Pakistan get nuclear weapons? What's up with that? I don't mind the Indians. I like the Indians. I wonder what the heck... the globalists are in control, right? You guys know that, right? And they're like spinning these things. The Indians... are pretty cool people. We could get along with the Indians, and they're a huge nation, and they have nukes. And why we're not just embracing the Indians and saying, let's make the Indian Ocean, and we will help you, because they're doing a dance between the U.S. and China, and I don't think we're being courting enough with India.
Right? There's stuff going on there. There's just stuff going on there. Not only are, the Indian people have gorgeous material, they have
she likes
delicious food.
Not only do you like Indian clothes, you like Indian clothes from a particular region.
Right. I like the Punjabs, which is the top and the pants, because they're very they're decorated really nice, and they're comfortable, loose clothing, which
they're modest.
I like. Yeah, modest and very loose. Especially in a hot temp, you don't want stuff that's just all clingy on you. And
but how many Punjabi women are your size?
Right, I'm sort of a monster in a lot of those countries. I'm just too big for them. And I order a lot of skirts, like the skirts I'm wearing now, which are very lightweight, hot weather skirts. I'm ordering from websites where the clothes are made in India. And their food's absolutely delicious, and a lot of vegetarian stuff, which, there's many greenies or whatever in America that enjoy vegetarian dishes. They have, just their culture itself has a lot of things that mesh fine with our culture.
Do you know the difference between vegan and vegetarian?
One of them is raw foods and the other one is just veggies. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. That's not me. 2 eyes in front. I'm a predator. Sorry. I eat meat. But yeah, as a country, there's a lot we could be doing, and we're just like, for a long time they couldn't even import their goods here, not even a little bit. Like, I would go to the one or two Indian stores that I knew
Dog.
of and ask,
Get.
you know,
Sorry.
how come you can't, where's all the material? Where's all the saris and things? And like, we can't even import that. So I don't know what's going on there, Pastor.
So what do you think? What do you focus on? Like, what are important things you think about? I could give you quizzes. I don't want to put you on the spot. So, like, what do you think about during the day? What are you like? Yep, this is important.
Well, my day is very structured around the 3 meals and the health and wealth, health and welfare of the animals and people under my care. That is what my day.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because you are not. Do y'all think she's a meek woman that would like let me just push her around and stuff? See, you're not, right? I mean, you're a strong Israelite woman. So, but you have certain roles here that you play at Shofar Mountain. There's tasks that you do.
Correct.
And I was talking to Brother Chris over the last couple days, and your day is full.
Right.
You know, you get up, you make me breakfast, you make us breakfast, and then if you have dishes left over from the night before, because we eat dinner late, well, late as far as the sun goes, and then it's dark, excuse me, and it's not easy to wash dishes in the dark.
You don't want to wash dishes in the dark because you can't see if you're getting them clean or not. So I wait till the morning.
So then you're washing those dishes, and then you're dealing with the goats, and then you go play in the garden, and then it's lunchtime, and then we're doing lunch, and then you clean up from lunch, and then there's laundry, and because usually you're doing something with laundry every other day, right?
Right. You're right. You're going you're going through my whole day.
You want to go through your day? Go ahead.
Whole day.
But I understand what you do.
Right.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's very organized. Like, I like things on time. I like, I won't say I eat breakfast early, but once I've had breakfast, I want to get it cleaned up, and I want to make sure in my mind I've already planned for breakfast for the next day and the next day and the next day. We don't have a lot of food storage for cold food, fresher food.
Our refrigerator is very small.
Right, the refrigerator and the freezer are very small, and so I have to plan if I want some sort of fresh food for any of the meals. And so shopping is part of my task too.
But something I give her lots of credit. But one of the things you've been doing of late, before every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you go out there.
Right, it's that time of year that I really enjoy, where I can just walk out there, pick some greens, and come back in. And I had to start this year, which is unusual, with wild greens, because our greens that were in the garden that had wintered over did not winter over this year. They didn't come back, and so I didn't have my kale already ready. And the mustard came up in April, and here in February I was like, where's my mustard? So I was picking wild edibles first. But yeah, I like to go out there and get my greens taken care of, and I try to integrate them in a lot of the meals because it's good for us. And they taste good too.
So you have a lot that you do during the day just to keep the family going.
Right. There's a decent amount of work every day just to do.
So do you feel oppressed?
No, the whole reason I'm out here is to be less oppressed, if that makes sense. But
wait a minute, you're out there, you're cooking 3 meals a day on a little Coleman camp stove, you're having to walk out in the dirt and the mud and pick weeds to feed your family, and then you're washing in a thing that you got to heat up water on a camp stove for, and you're washing clothes in the tub. Oh, there's a hummingbird.
There's our hummingbird.
We just hung the feeder up.
We just hung it up for him.
So,
right.
Explain that.
How is that less oppressing? Because we don't have to pay for the water and the electricity I'm using. I find paying those bills every month, and you don't get options. Like when you move into an area, the water is provided by one provider, and you have to pay that bill and hook up to that water, whether you want to or not. And I understand having clean, fresh, available water makes a culture in general grow, and it's healthier for everyone. But there comes a point at which people, stubborn people like myself
and me
and my husband, don't want you only get one option choice. You know what I mean? Like, we want to have options in our life, and at this
control,
point,
right? It's a control thing.
It's control, and it's also choices. And we're wise enough now at 50 whatever that we can find ways to provide these things for ourselves, and we have, and that's where it's not oppressing. It's a choice, and we have made that choice so that we have the options. Like, come June, July, we are going to have so many blackberries. So many. We chose that. We chose coming here. That's one of the reasons. We don't have to go to the store and it's either, a little tinny pint or none.
Mm.
Here
Yeah, we pick it by the bucket.
Right here. If we want to, we can probably pick enough blackberries to put up enough jam to last us, I would say, at least 5 years, if not more.
And this year, I actually do feel motivated to like maximize the blackberry harvest, and I don't know if that's because I feel the disturbance in the force, but I'll be out there. We'll be out there picking, and I want to try blackberry wine.
I think that's smart. I think if you have enough fruit like we will, and he's already tried watermelon wine and it worked, and he doesn't care to drink it, but I kind of like it, and it's also an asset. If I need to cook, I have wine that can flavor the foods that I'm cooking, and he also now knows how. So that, if there's a need, then we can take care of that need.
The downside, I was thinking about this the other day, the downside or whatever, the thing that needs to be considered with wine is we need to store up some sugar. Like if we're looking to like a world without rule of law, Tiawaki, there's no more grocery store.
If you put your pinky in stir, that's not going to do it?
I know I'm sweet, but I'm not that sweet.
Yes, we need bulk sugar.
And bulk sugar is cheap. Relatively, and it lasts forever. If you store it properly, it lasts forever. Even if it gets hard in a solid brick because there was moisture in it, you can just grind it up. And so I was thinking we should probably go get several 100 pounds of sugar.
Yes, we should. And here's another real quick story, the way the Father works.
And then we'll finish this up because we've gone long.
We've gone. A brother, when we first moved here, had a connection who needed to get rid of tons of sugar. And so we were blessed with the gift of almost 200 pounds of sugar. And there's still some of that in the kitchen here. So, yes, we have a need, but the Father also provides sometimes, even if you're not even thinking about it.
All right, so we've gone long enough. I don't want to bore you guys to death. I just thought we'd have a little regular talk with y'all. Did we plan this at all?
No.
No, we didn't plan this at all. So I hope y'all are doing well. It's going to rain here. We'll get some video of the rain, and we'll probably put it up first day Sunday, something like that. So we'll see you out there, and
Shalom.